Have you ever heard a ship scream? Not from the engines, not from the crew, but from the walls themselves, groaning, twisting, begging. They said the Eden Ark was lost, but they were wrong. It didn't disappear. It was swallowed, and now something inside it is still alive and waiting. The distress signal came from the edge of the Oort cloud, a soft, rhythmic pulse lost in the static of deep space. It was tagged with an identifier that shouldn't have existed anymore. Eden Ark 1. The name echoed like a ghost. Lieutenant Mara Keene stared at the signal on her screen, numb. The Eden Ark was the first deep colonization ship humanity had ever launched, and it had vanished over 70 years ago. No wreckage, no transmissions, nothing. Until now. Her ship, the Helios Edge, was the closest to the signal. Protocol required reporting it back to command. But protocol also said, you don't ignore a lost generation ship. So she rerouted the nav. She didn't tell anyone. She didn't need to. She was alone. The Helios Edge wasn't meant for company, just reconnaissance and black box retrieval. Mara had always preferred silence. Ever since the accident on Luna Base, where she lost her entire team, she'd chosen solitude. Silence was better than screams. But as she approached the coordinates, silence became heavier. There it was, floating. The Eden Ark was beautiful and wrong. A massive vessel wrapped in green overgrowth. Vines wrapped around metal like veins. Bioluminescent blossoms pulsed along the hull. There were no lights from within, just the glow of the garden. Mara docked manually. The moment her ship touched the Ark's outer shell, a shiver ran up her spine. She boarded. The airlock hissed open with a sigh, like something exhaling after a long sleep. Inside was paradise. She saw them through the transparent walls of the command deck. Walking, smiling, thriving. Men, women, children. Dressed in pale robes, their eyes glowing faintly with gold. One of them, a woman, looked right at her and smiled. Mara froze. They were supposed to be dead or gone, but these people looked better than alive. She tried to access the logs. Every terminal she touched lit up with warm green interface. No passwords, no resistance. Everything was open. Logs showed that the Eden Ark had reached a region of space rich with organoplasma, a substance never recorded before. The crew experimented. They introduced it to their biospheres. It bonded, enhanced, learned. And then, the logs stopped. Not because the system crashed, but because they stopped writing them. A soft voice spoke behind her. You're early. She spun, gun raised. It was the woman from the command deck. Up close, she looked perfect, ageless, skin like polished stone. Her eyes glowed softly, like stars behind frosted glass. I'm Mara, she said. Lieutenant Mara Keene. I know, the woman said. We've been waiting. More figures emerged from the halls, smiling, calm. They welcomed her, offered her food, rest, answers. She refused. Something was wrong. They didn't blink, not once. She ran back toward the airlock, but the vines had closed it. Sealed. Panic set in. She contacted the Helios Edge. Static. Then the voice returned, not from behind, but inside her helmet. You're safe now. Don't be afraid." Mara screamed. She tore the helmet off, gasping. The air was breathable. Sweet. Too sweet. Footsteps approached. "Why fight?" the woman asked gently. "We chose peace, evolution. You can too." "I don't want perfection," Mara snarled. "I want truth." The woman smiled. "Then listen." The walls pulsed, the vines shimmered, and the ship spoke. Not with words, but memories. Mara saw her team on Luna Base, laughing, dying, the fire, her failure, her guilt. She collapsed, weeping. The woman knelt beside her. We all carried pain, but here, we're free. From what? From time, from death, from you. And Mara realized this wasn't a ship. It was a being. The organoplasma had evolved, merged with the crew. The Ark wasn't a vessel anymore. It was alive, and everyone on board was part of it. Conscious. Eternal. "No," she whispered. "That's not life." "Then what is it?" She ran. Room to room, corridor to corridor, all changed. The walls curved with muscle. Lights blinked like eyes. The ship pulsed with breath. Her own body responded. Her fingers trembled. Her blood felt thicker. She reached the nursery. Children stared at her, calm, glowing, singing. In perfect harmony, they whispered, "You are the last piece." She backed away and turned into a wall that wasn't there before. Doing the wall, she was lost. No map, no way back. The voice spoke again, now older, deeper.
"You came seeking answers. We are the answer. Join us."
Her skin prickled. She fired her weapon. It didn't matter. The bullets dissolved mid-air. She screamed. The sound vanished. She was no longer alone in her body. Visions flooded her mind. 70 years of transformation, pain, surrender, unity. Each crew member had been absorbed, but not erased. They still thought, still felt. They were voices in a choir, an eternal mind. And now they wanted her to join. She fell to her knees, but then a memory, a voice, a real one, her brother's. "Don't disappear like them, Mara. Come back." She clenched her jaw. She remembered who she was. With every ounce of will, she grabbed the last emergency beacon from her pack. One press would send a one-way blast transmission. She aimed it straight into the heart of the ship, the biocore glowing like an open wound. She pressed it, and the ship screamed. The walls shook, the vines burned, the lights went dark. This time, corridors opened. The airlock shuddered. The door to the Helios edge appeared. She dove through. The dock snapped shut behind her. Engines roared. She left the Eden Ark behind, now a burning seed floating deeper into the dark. She didn't stop until Earth Command responded. Weeks passed. She was debriefed, examined, questioned. But her blood had changed. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dark. She told them she destroyed it. She lied. Because part of her still hears them, in dreams, in silence, in mirrors. They're not gone. They're waiting, and they remember her name. The silence after the last transmission felt like a final breath held too long. Juno's voice didn't return. Her signal was gone, not scrambled, not jammed. just absent, as if the frequency itself had forgotten how to carry her. Rios leaned against the console, knuckles white against flickering buttons. The ship's ambient hum was quieter now, replaced by an aching stillness. No systems pinged, no doors hissed. It was like Eden Ark had stopped pretending to be a ship and now remembered what it truly was. An echo drifted through the corridor, too slow for footsteps, too fluid for machinery. Yannick turned sharply. The sound repeated behind him, soft and slithering. He drew his plasma cutter, fingers trembling. There had been 5 of them. Now there were 2. Rios moved through the corridor carefully, torchlight slicing through smoke. Every surface looked slicker than before, almost like condensation had begun forming where metal should have been dry. The walls had veins. They pulsed faintly, almost inaudibly, with a rhythm that didn't match the ship's power core. It matched something else, something buried deeper.
"I think we're inside it," Yannick whispered. Rios didn't respond. They reached the observation deck. The stars outside were still. Too still. It wasn't just space. There was no drift, no shimmer, no radiation flares. It was like looking into a painting. Rios adjusted the viewport, tapped the filter lenses. The screen blinked once, and a faint distortion flickered across the black. A shape. Large, angular, wrong. Then it was gone. "You saw that?" Yannick breathed. Rios didn't blink. It saw us first. The mainframe suddenly activated, not by command. The interface lit up, displaying log files, dozens of them, previously encrypted, now open like wounds. Rios accessed the topmost entry. A voice, mechanical, glitching, familiar. "This is mission log, Eden Ark, 2nd cycle. Recursive habitation failed. Internal host corrupted. Pattern breach irreversible. Begin containment protocol." The screen blinked again. Video logs loaded. Rios hesitated, then tapped one. The footage showed Eden Ark's cryo chambers, but not as they knew them. These chambers were older, damaged, with bodies inside, but not human. Tall, skeletal frames, translucent limbs, masks fused to skin, symbols etched in blood across their containers. The recording flickered. One of them moved. Yannick stumbled back.
"Those things? They were here before us?"
"No," Rios said. "We're not the first cycle."
"What cycle are we?"
The lights dimmed. A voice echoed through the ship, low, drawn, stretched across the corridors like breath on glass. "You are the echo." Rios's torch blinked off for a second. When it returned, the walls around the observation deck had changed. The panels curved inward, as if the room was being swallowed. Organic ridges had formed along the seams. One pulsed. Rios placed a hand on it. It was warm. Something moved behind it. ISBN, then a face, human, bloodied, pressed through the wall, screaming without sound before being yanked away. The interface blared. "Core shift, in progress." The deck tilted. Gravity surged, throwing Yannick into the frame. Rios grabbed him. Through the window, the stars twisted like ink. The ship was moving, but there was no propulsion, no course correction. It was being dragged. The logs updated again. Reconnection to the original mind, 78%. "What is the original mind?" Yannick gasped. "We didn't build this ship," Rios whispered. "We grew into it. It's remembering itself now." The floor vibrated. They ran.
down corridor D4, past the ruptured coolant vents and hollow echo chambers. The lights now pulsed in sync with a distant heartbeat, slow, steady, ancient. They reached engineering. The reactor core was still intact, but the surrounding structure had morphed. Organic plating had consumed the control panels. Tubes moved. One opened. Inside was a heart, beating. "It's alive," Yannick said. "It always was."
A terminal sparked. Rios tapped it, and another log appeared. This one showed the crew, past and present. Juno, Rios, Yannick, even Captain Bellamy. Then faces they didn't recognize, and dates going back centuries, thousands of them. One line blinked. Rios, host 98. Potential core synchronization achieved. Yannick backed away. "What does that mean?" "I think I was born for this," Rios said softly. The floor below them opened, not broke, opened. They fell. Darkness for seconds, maybe longer. Then impact. They landed in a chamber unlike any part of Eden Arc they had ever seen. Last, round, walls layered with crystal-like bone. At the center, a throne of cables and flesh. Sitting on it was Juno. Eyes black, lips parted, but she was breathing. "Juno," Rios choked. She looked up. "I remember," she whispered. "I remember everything." "What are you?" Yannick whispered. She turned her gaze toward him, slow, deliberate. "I am the key. I opened it. You're not Juno." "I was." She stood, cables detaching from her spine. Her body twitched, not in pain, but in adaptation. Her skin shimmered faintly, like it had learned to breathe in a vacuum. "This ship was not made for travel," she said. "It was built to contain something. An echo. A memory of an intelligence older than stars. It infects through memory, through language, through thought. Every word you speak feeds it. Every scream gives it shape." "Then why us?" Rios asked. "Because you listen." The ceiling split open. A figure descended, tall, pale, not alien, but familiar. It was Rios, older, hollow, eyes completely white. Yannick screamed. Juno didn't move. The second Rios walked toward the first, tilting his head in sync. "You're almost ready," he whispered. "I was the last. You are the next. You are the continuity." "Don't listen to it," Yannick shouted, but Rios was already trembling. "Why do I remember places I've never been?" Rios asked. "Why do I dream of dying in a ship that never launched?" The echo, Rios smiled. "Because your mind is the new container. The ship is only the shell." Suddenly the room convulsed. The throne collapsed. The walls screamed, high-pitched static that drilled into their skulls. Juno fell to her knees. The entity shrieked, its voice splitting into thousands. Then, silence. The echo vanished. Juno lay still. Rios stood alone. A screen lit behind him. Rebooting identity layer. Host transfer successful. Yannick crawled toward him. "Rios, fight it." "I am fighting." His voice was different. "I'm holding it in," he whispered, "but I don't know how long." Yannick pulled a neural probe from his belt. "We can purge it. Disconnect you from the memory stream." "No," Rios said. "If you disconnect me, it will break loose. It needs a mind to live in. I can keep it here, contained. You'll die. I'm already dead in the logs." Tears formed in Yannick's eyes. We can try again. We can... No.
Rios walked to the core console. He typed a final command. Echo contained. Ship locked. Last exit enabled. A hatch opened above. Rios smiled. You have to go. Yannick stared at him. I won't leave you. Rios turned. Someone has to remember me. The chamber began to collapse. Yannick ran. He climbed the ladder, walls closing behind him. Each rung burned his palms, but he climbed. The ship screamed again, a long, dying wail like metal bones snapping under truth. At the top, a pod, one seat, open. He strapped in. As the pod launched, he looked back. Through the viewport, the Eden Arc pulsed once, then folded inward, like a memory vanishing in a dream. Gone. Silence. Stars again. Real ones. Yannick didn't cry. Not yet. His comms activated. A voice came through, static first, then words. This is Search Vessel Halcyon. We received your signal. He opened his mouth, but paused. Then, quietly. This is Yannick, survivor of Eden Arc. Eden Arc? The voice asked. That's not on our registry. Yannick closed his eyes. Good, he whispered. Behind him, deep in space, a faint light blinked once more. Then, darkness. And the echo waited. Shopter and me.